Hello there, I am Karen Jones and I'm a flute player. I've been playing the flute since I was 10. So without knowing it, you have probably heard me on a film. So any little bit of flute in the last 20 years on a film that you have heard, there's about an 8 out of 10 chance that would be me. So you probably are familiar with my flute playing without realising it. I'm also really proud to say I'm a professor at the Royal Academy of Music, and I was once principal flute of the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra. So I grew up surrounded by music. Both my parents were professional musicians. If I said to you that it's hard for me to imagine life without music, that wouldn't be an exaggeration. It's not a romantic notion. I literally cannot imagine life without music. I've turned to music in my times of need. I've turned to my flute in my times of need. It's the one thing I can count on. I think of pieces of music for if I'm going to work and I'm not looking forward to that particular day for whatever reason. I put my sounds on and I know what I want to listen to get me on my way and fire me up. If I'm what inspired me to go into music? I have no other raison d'etre other than I live for music. I'm asked the impossible question, what's my favourite piece of music? I mean, what kind of question is that? This depends on what day it is. This depends what mood I'm in. We would safely say that the Johannes Brahms's German Requiem, I'm afraid I keep going back to that. I also keep going back to Johann Sebastian Bach's Goldberg Variations, or Johann Sebastian Bach's St. Matthew Passion. And then, without a shadow of doubt, anything by Mozart, preferably Mozart's Requiem or one of his piano concertos. And then I'm deliriously happy. I have to avoid some pieces because they reduce me to tears. These days I seem to find it, I think it must be my age, I struggle to listen to Tchaikovsky or Rachmaninoff without literally going to pieces, which is very embarrassing. That's just the effect that these pieces have on me. I had the great privilege with an orchestra that I am principal flute of, the City of London Sinfonia, to do a residency in Great Ormond Street Hospital. And this was very challenging. I had young children of my own at the time. It was a colossal challenge. However, I could not have turned my back on it. I remember being asked if I was okay to go into a certain room, a young boy, something most terrible he was going through. And of course I was happy. And he didn't want me to play. He vanished under his blanket. And I sat in a corner. I got my flute out and I just started noodling. I played a little bit of Harry Potter, then I played a few kind of folk songs, and he emerged from under the blanket. I know that you're going to think this is a corny story, it's a true story, and we chatted, and by the end of it he was asking, could I play this, would I try that? To me, that's not a transformation, but I felt grateful to have my flute to use to communicate with that poorly child, and that showed me the power of my flute and what I could say with it. The role that classical music can play in the current climate. I think with the awareness of mental health issues, for which I am incredibly grateful that this is just a commonplace now to discuss mental health issues, and I'm doing a lot of work with music with the same orchestra I've just mentioned, and in terms of what place it has, really, if we're going to understand the power of music, could we not take it to those that if they choose not to share with us their emotions, can we not just share via the music? And I think the answer is yes, we can. In the current climate, I'm not a political person, I'm an emotional person, and I'm so grateful that I can use my flute to communicate to people who find it hard to communicate and are struggling. It's a gift.